It's good to see that they've injected a little bit of fun in this shoe, and it's good to see that they put some super foam in a shoe that you can actually feel. So a few runs done and dusted in this beast. Now this is a Saucony Hurricane 24, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, a big shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with our quick specs here, so this one it's in the max cushion category, but it's also in the stability category as well. So price wise, $270 here in Australia, $160 in the US. Now pretty chunky weight as well, so 302 grams or 10.7 ounces in your men's size 9. Now in the stack, 38 in the rear, 32 in the front, and that's going to give us a 6mm drop. And in the upper here, so the material that they're using is a engineered mesh, and I really like it. So it feels quite premium, and it's quite breathable as well, especially here through the toe box, and those side little vents is just where you need it. It does build up considerably through the rest of the shoe. We've got a pretty solid heel counter there, but it doesn't have a solid cap in it. Padding, plush, padding. And what I will mention is the material that they're using to cover this padding is amazing. So it's really smooth and silky like. It's certainly a marked upgrade, because I know some of the material that Saucony use to line their heel collars, it can be quite scratchy. Now the tongue, as I mentioned before, it is very padded, however it is not gusseted. So I haven't experienced any moving around in it as such, but it's probably got the potential to do so. The rest of the tongue is a thick type mesh material. Now in the lacing system here, standard lacing system, however, they've got some midfoot strap, or these little lace loops that certainly do a pretty good job to lock the foot down on top of the shoe. Now in the lockdown, I will say you are very secure through the heel and on the midfoot, but it's quite spacious towards the front of the shoe. But yeah, no issues with the lockdown. And in the fit, length is certainly true to size, and it's quite generous through the toe box as well. I'm not going to say it's super wide, but it's certainly on the wider end, especially when we're talking about the Saucony models, which is usually quite thin. The build quality in this shoe is excellent, and the stepping comfort is just amazing. And with our outsole here, so what I do like about it is just the amount of rubber that they've used. They haven't just lathered the bottom of the shoe with rubber just because it is a training shoe. It's strategically placed, so they've done a little bit of an effort here just to keep the weight down, but it's very effective. The tread pattern itself reminds me of an old school sort of Hoka tread pattern that they used to have, but also on the bottom of the shoe, plenty of exposed foam, as you can see there. Now the rubber is actually quite thick. I'm not sure if it's the XT900 rubber that they've used in the other shoes, but I'm not experiencing the grip issues that I have in other Saucony shoes, so that is a marked improvement. But durability wise, it's early days, but this rubber is nice and thick. I don't think it's gonna have any durability issues at all. So what I will mention is actually how wide the footprint is. So the base of this shoe is one of the widest shoes I think that I've ever seen. And in the midsole, so they have got the dual density thing going on here, and the best thing about this shoe is they've included their premium, or one of their premium foams, the PWRRUN PB foam. So that's the foam that they use in their racing model, so their Endorphin Pro and also the Endorphin Speed, and they've been quite generous with it here. So you can actually feel it in the shoe. So there's it's a pretty thick layer of the PWRRUN PB, and then holding that together is their standard PWRRUN lead, the EVA foam. Now, it doesn't have a plate or anything in it, however, it's still a stiff shoe because we've got just so much midsole foam. So rigidity-wise, it's a pretty stiff shoe. And in our geometry as well, it doesn't feel like an overly rocket shoe, but it's definitely got enough curvature there at the front to take any slappiness out of the ride. And in the ride, so the first word is coming to mind is plush. So it's a pretty soft ride, however, it's not so soft and it's not really squishy, so it's not like the foam that they use in the 1080 or the more in those New Balance shoes. It is soft, but you sink into it, but then it's got a good amount of bounce back to it. So this PWRRUN PB, absolutely put some fun into this shoe. So it's got a good amount of bounce, but the bounce and the feedback in this shoe is not fast and responsive. It's enjoyable. So it just takes all the pounding out of the road, and then it gives you a nice little bounce off, and away you go. So yeah, it's just a super comfortable, fun shoe. And the stability elements in the shoe, yes, it's a stable shoe. It's a very safe shoe with this huge wide platform. However, the stability elements don't feel like they're overcorrecting me at all. The only thing that I can really feel that's different in this shoe, it's got a little bit of a high arch. So if you've got, if you're prone to getting irritated by a high arch, just watch out for that one. But apart from that, it feels, yeah, it feels like quite neutral. But obviously, it's a very stable and a safe ride. But man, this is a really comfy, fun shoe. And likes in this shoe so far is certainly the ride. Just love the bounce, love how comfortable it is, and I also love how comfortable this upper is. And what I'm still figuring out of this shoe, they went to all this trouble to make a nice big plush comfy shoe, and they didn't put a gusset on the tongue. And dislikes in this shoe, nothing really, but if I'm going to nitpick at something, I'm going to say it's probably a little bit bulky. So just wrapping up my initial thoughts here, I'm pleasantly surprised. So it really just is just a fun, comfy shoe that you can run all day in this one. It is a little on the heavy and the bulky side. However, you're not buying this shoe to feel light and poppy on your feet. For me, it reminds me if a Kayano and a Nimbus and an Endorphin Speed had a weird love child. This is probably what you get. So you get that nice softness and plushness from your Nimbus. You get some stability elements from your Kayano, but you just get that nice little bit of excitement from the Endorphin Speed with this PWRRUN PB. But yeah, it's quite a unique experience. So it's good to see that they've injected a little bit of fun in this shoe, and it's good to see that they've put some super foam in a shoe that you can actually feel. So you can feel the benefits of it. They haven't muffled it or just put a nice little thin layer and then whacked a sticker on the side to say that that's what it's got in it. So yes, you can feel the PWRRUN PB in this. So yes, pretty good shoe. It's going to be a really solid daily trainer, I think, for pretty much most people, unless you get irritated by that high arch. It's probably a bit bulky for a long run, but this is perfect for a recovery day. And if you're doing a lot of Ks on the concrete and on the road, this one is really going to protect your legs. So they are my predictions in this shoe. But yeah, loving my time so far. And the Ks are going to tick up really quickly in this one. So anyway, guys, that's it from me. Those are my first impressions of the Saucony Hurricane 24. If you've got any questions regarding this shoe, how it relates to anything else, please drop it in the comments below. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.